I've been consistently launching products into Amazon since late 2021. And as I've sold more products, I've realized what variables I need to control. And more importantly, how to position our listings in order to not burn thousands of dollars in ad spend. So I came up with a 9-step checklist. And if you're doing at least 7 of these 9 steps, you're setting yourself up for success. With 310 million active shoppers, Amazon is an amazing opportunity to take your brands to the next level. The first step is making sure the listing is even ready to advertise. Amazon is a pay-to-play marketplace, and ads are expensive. So it's important to make sure that you're capturing the SEO while you're running the ads. So the first step that I look at when I'm looking at my listings is to make sure that we have the SEO inside the listings. So I'm looking at the title. Is there 150 to 200 characters inside the title? With shorter titles, you're gonna have a higher conversion rate in general. But the problem is where our profitability really comes from, is the organic sales, because we're spending $0 on ads there. So by having a higher conversion on your PPC and using less keywords in your title, you're actually hurting yourself by not gaining this organic rank. So your ads might look better. Sure, you might save a few points on your ACoS. So if you look at your tacos, you're gonna be more profitable by putting those keywords in your title than you would be by saving a little extra on your conversions. I would not obsess over the bullet points. The amount of shoppers that are actually reading them is minuscule. This is a great opportunity for SEO. That being said, people do look at the bullet points, so it's important to have good copy. But let's prioritize the SEO here, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. I wanna make sure that the listings have good A+ content. That's the photos underneath your gallery images that give a little bit more information about your products. Now again, A+ content is not the most important thing. And in fact, when I look at listings, it's later down the totem pole on things that I optimize. But it's important to have it there, as well as have 500 words of indexable content, so you're training Amazon's algorithm on what your product really is. We wanna make sure that we have 7 good quality images with alt text. We wanna make sure we have a strong video with a strong hook that really sells the consumer. One of the big things I look for is social proof. We wanna make sure that the customer can really imagine the product. So if we're marketing a smartwatch, for instance, we're not just taking a picture of a smartwatch, we're showing someone running through a park looking at their health metrics, right? Really imagining and selling the product rather than just selling the features. We also wanna make sure to gather reviews. One of the easiest ways to do this is through the Vine program, where you can give away 30 of your products. And by doing this, we're establishing trust and legitimacy. If I see a listing with only 1 or no reviews, and even though it's in my Amazon feed, the odds are I'm not gonna click it, and now you're wasting money on impressions because they're not gonna end in clicks or conversions. So it's important to get at least 30 reviews established. If you're an e-commerce brand, you can harp on your email and SMS list, which help a lot when it comes to launching. And what's really important is getting a good ranking. And if there's one thing that I've learned from selling countless products, is the product does matter. When I first started, I thought I could get a copycat product from Alibaba and outmarket everyone. And although I was able to outmarket people, my product didn't do exceptionally well. In fact, it was basically barely breaking a profit with good advertising, just because it was a horrible product. And what I've learned from marketing better products and unique products is it's so much easier, and everything's built on that. If you're gonna invest thousands of dollars into a listing that you wanna scale, you should scale a good product, because you're gonna spend a lot of money in the wrong direction if you're just trying to get a copycat product, or a product that doesn't really provide any value. So the final part of this first section is having a product that's actually gonna get good reviews. It's very hard to scale a product in the low 3s, 3.5, 3.6, unless the niche is just awful. And then in that case, why not spend the time in product development and release a good product that's gonna actually scale, and you're gonna make a ton of money by offering value into the marketplace. And that's really what money is it's a derivative, and it's a symptom of providing other people value. Number 2 is to make sure you even have the buy box availability, because if you don't, you're just gonna be wasting money on ads. 3 is to make sure we have enough warehouse stock. There's no point in even running ads if you're gonna run out of stock, because at the end of the day, when you run out of stock, it nukes your score in the algorithm, and you spent all this money for no reason. So make sure you have the logistics and everything planned, so that way you can continue to scale. It's actually a real problem we have when we take on clients, because they're not always prepared to move from 100,000 a month to 300,000 a month. It's difficult. There's logistical problems, and sometimes a shipment might get stuck on a ship on the way from China. So you never really know what's going to happen. And people think that they can scale rapidly, but logistics is a very important part of this whole operation. The third step is to check if you're fulfilled by Amazon. Look, we scale products that are FBM as well, and it is possible, but what I have noticed, at least while we're scaling products, is it is easier to scale a product that is FBA. People do like to buy products that have 1 or 2 days shipping. And I just see that becoming more and more of a thing as Amazon continues to increase their efficiency in logistics. I mean, they got freaking drones coming and they're gonna be delivering within an hour. And that obviously is very appealing to the consumer. So, it's a big checkbox that I like to look at. And if we can, we'll do FBA.
Speaking of that, the next thing we wanna focus on is delivery time. We want to make sure the warehouse is not so far away. It takes a week to deliver the products. And if you're not getting the gist, delivery time is important to the consumer. That moves us into the next checkbox, which is competitive pricing. Amazon is a competitive marketplace, so you need competitive pricing. You're not going to be able to just list a copycat product for $20 more than the market and expect for your branding to command that. Now, there are unique ways to position your offer, but it is very important that the product has enough value itself. You need to have a value proposition to the consumer. So that being said, yes, there's different ways to position a product to position that value so they can understand the value, but you're not going to be able to command a $20 or $40 above market price unless you can figure that out and it's something that they want to purchase. I've seen some people come to me, Hunter, I have a premium product, my cushion is better. It's only better if the customer considers it better, and it's only going to sell if the customer considers that better and just as valuable or more valuable than the market, right? So you need to make sure that the consumer is going to actually want to pay for your premium product. Just because you think it's premium doesn't mean the market's going to think it's premium. That being said, positioning premium is one of my favorite ways to sell products because I think it's, one, a great way to make sure your margins are healthy by positioning premium products. And two, there's different subcategories inside of each market. Sometimes there is a premium category that's actually better than the cheaper category. So it really depends on the market. Every market's unique, but competitive pricing is super important. There's tons of tools you can utilize to make sure you're competitively priced. And we want to break down, are you competitively priced per unit? Are you competitively priced for, a 3-pack or a 6-pack? Because sometimes you're gonna actually be more profitable selling 6-packs than you are a single unit. And there's different, again, variations of niches, but you need to be competitive inside of whichever segmentation of the market. The next checklist is promotions. I'm talking coupons, I'm talking deals. These are great ways to get the competitive advantage. If you want to go to market at $20, for instance, list at $22 and give them a 10% discount. So you're gonna be selling at 10% anyways. And the psychology of the consumer is going to be more likely to purchase your product. People love coupons, and there's a reason why it's a very strong part of a lot of people's marketing strategies. Coupons are powerful, and you're only going to understand how powerful once you use them. So use them. Some of the niches sure might be different, and sometimes maybe coupons aren't going to resonate, but in general, coupons are an amazing strategy, and consumers have been responding very well to the products that we have been scaling inside of Amazon by using coupons. So I only can recommend you try to use coupons. So the next checkbox is SEO filling, and it's super important for being able to scale into Amazon is understanding which keywords that you want to target, you want to rank for in order to capture that traffic. So when I start, I like to take one branch at a time before trying to take the whole tree because it's much more doable. So I take long tail keywords that are less competitive and slowly work my way up, and eventually take the full tree and start going for the root keywords and really taking over the market. But this is a timely process. So my SEO is reflective of what I'm going after. So when I start, my SEO is long tail keywords and my PPC is long tail keywords. And that's the beautiful part about PPC is it's going to give you immediate feedback about what your customers are liking. And now you can match your SEO to your PPC to allow you to accelerate faster and gain organic rank depending on what you're performing for and ranking for relevance. As Amazon is maturing, so is the algorithm, and so is how we need to position our listings. With Rufus and Cosmo, the new AI programs that Amazon's going to be using to interpret everything, it's going to be more important than ever to market based on intent. What is the consumer thinking of when they go to purchase? When I say, hey, Alexa, order me some toilet paper, it's going to know based on my intent and my data that Amazon has on me, Hunter likes soft toilet paper, right? So now that's going to be inside of the algorithm. So it's important to have the SEO, soft toilet paper. It's important to have the keywords inside of your images, soft toilet paper. If you think the algorithm can't read your images you are mistaken. It is reading what you're putting into it. It's reading the way you're saving your image files. It's reading your back-end keywords. It's super important to have all these things together in order to scale. You need to have an optimized listing from all angles. And once you get that optimized listing, that is when we ram money behind it and send it off to the world for people to purchase. And that's when you become competitive, and that's when you really make the big bucks. But obviously, in order to get super competitive, that takes time, that takes iterations, and that takes continuously taking database decisions and creating systems around that data in order to scale. Moving into my next checkbox, brand registry. This is super important. Not only for an ad standpoint, but this is important to protect your listing. Now, when I first started selling on Amazon, I had finished brand registry, but I didn't have my copyright in place. And I had other competitors jumping on my listing, and I thought brand registry was gonna protect me, but they didn't. So it's important to make sure your copyright is actually finished, or prepare with some sort of way to protect your listing, because if you launch and you're spending $5,000 or $10,000 on pushing traffic to your listings and optimizing your images, it's a horrible feeling to see some other seller selling on your listing and stealing your profits. And quite honestly, it should be criminal and we should be able to prosecute them. But that's just the way of life, is we need to have protections and we need to make sure that we have our copyright in place. So make sure you have brand registry, but also make sure you have the copyright, because that way you're going to defend your brand. And what is even worse about these hijackers is when they take your listing, they'll send horrible quality products that might look like yours, but you can get 1 or 2 star reviews, and that's going to tank your whole listing. So it's a double whammy. You're losing profits, and you're going to be losing ranking, and you're going to be losing all sorts of, a lot of losing. So make sure you have your brand registry in place, and that's an important checkbox. Moving into the next checkbox, we need to understand the finances of your product. I get it. People are ready to sell. We want to just freaking go to the moon. You need to have the finances in order. If you don't know the finances, you're operating in the dark. You don't know where your profit is. You don't know how to properly scale. You don't know where your break-even point is. There's so much things that are wrong. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your margins. You need to know what your goals are in terms of tacos. And you need to be able to have a plan in order to hit those goals in order to scale successfully. Because yeah, sure, operating in the dark might work while you're 5 or maybe 6 figures. Once you're moving to 7 and 8 figures, you need to have these dialed in for a multitude of reasons. Not only for understanding your profitability, but you need to dial in your cash flow, because this is a cash intensive business. You have a lot of your money that gets tied to inventory, especially as you're scaling. Sure, you can reinvest your funds, but a lot of that reinvestment goes into the inventory. And in these businesses, a lot of times you see the big paychecks is at the very end, when you either sell the business or you decide, hey, this is the point where I'm going to start taking profits. So all in all, these checklists are super important. They're going to put you on the path to success in Amazon, but that's just the path. You need to continue to take data and make data-driven decisions, and a lot of that is through understanding the data in the first place. Amazon does not do a good job at giving us the data, so at GigaBrand, we've actually created our own softwares and our own ways of interpreting the data in order to give us a competitive advantage. And you can do the same by going in and figuring out ways to take search query performance reports and other aspects of Amazon and plugging it into Excel sheets and creating macros, or even purchasing third-party softwares, Helium 10, Data Dive. All these softwares give you an advantage. Look, I understand how hard it is to scale, and I have been in a position where I didn't have the systems, and that's a big reason why I create these YouTube videos, is to spread the knowledge and give information that would have helped my old self scale at a much faster pace. So if you're an e-commerce brand and you're doing over $20,000 a month, click the link in my bio and we can go over a play-by-play strategy about how we would take your brand to the next level. You can plug your brand into our proven systems that have worked repeatedly for over 20 different brands that we've scaled on Amazon. In a 30-minute meeting, we'll discuss the different brands that we've scaled, as well as how we can apply those strategies to your business. And just like my YouTube videos, everything is completely free. The only thing that I sell is the implementation if we find each other to be a good fit to scale. So click the link in my bio, and if you're also looking for some more information about how to scale, I just recorded a brand new video about how we're using main images to optimize, and you can watch that here.